Sweet Aunt Mill, and I'm back with another video. I want to say welcome back. Those who are new, welcome to my channel. Those who have been here before, thank you for coming back. Can't talk right already. As you can see by the title below, what this video is about, and it's pretty much about my labor and delivery from when I had my son. So first things first, we're going to go back to the quick backstory. When I was 16, I was told I would never have kids because of my polycystic ovarian syndrome. I always had complications with my mother nature, for those who know what I mean. And just from then on, I just thought, okay, cool, I'll just never have kids. I'll treat anyone else's kids as if they were my own, and that's what I did throughout my life. All until 2017, when I found out I was pregnant. Well, yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so when I found out, I was shocked. Didn't think I could have kids. It was a week before my birthday when I found out, when I went for my first doctor's appointment. Pretty much I was already 6 weeks along. So if you want that complete story of how I completely found out, please comment down below. That's just a snippet. So fast forward to leading up to my delivery day. My son was supposed to be born on one day, and that didn't happen, so we had already planned to have an induction done. So the day of my induction, I was supposed to go into the doctor's office that morning, fill out paperwork to finalize everything, and then go in later that evening at a set time to have my induction done. And this was on a Monday. So Monday morning I woke up. I already had my plan of who was going to take me to the hospital, because mind you, I live 45 minutes away without traffic to the hospital I was going to deliver. So I had my mom, thank God for her, but she was to pick me up. She had just got this car and everything. The car was good. She called me and said my battery's dead. Okay, blood pressure's already rising. So I had to figure out a different way to, just in case, so I wouldn't miss my appointment time. So my best friend, shout out to you if you're watching, she gave my mom a jump, and my mom was able to get to me. So that second option I didn't have to use, which would have cost me more money. So she got to me, and when she got to where I lived, her car died again in the parking lot. So my blood pressure's even higher. So I had to call my doctor's office and reschedule my appointment time. And luckily they had another appointment time that would fit in for the time we needed to be there. So luckily there's a person in the parking lot that worked nearby. They gave my mom a jump. And they were jumping her car. I was coming out. She looked at me and I said, I'm driving, period. She didn't know where my the doctors, or where my hospital was, where I had to go to my appointments, because I would go to the hospital from work to do all of my appointments. It was just easier for me to do it that way. I didn't need people to go with me. So I drove. We went, got Starbucks that morning because I was already cranky and needed something to eat to calm down. We drove to the Starbucks around the area I lived, and then we drove all the way down to where my mother lived, and we stopped and got our car checked out. She needed a new battery. Thank God, that was the only reason why her car kept cutting off. So that relieved me a little bit. So we go to my appointment. My blood pressure is sky high. It was like 120 over 100. They're like, well, you need to go to the doctor. You need to go check in now. I was like, I'm not going to check in without having something to eat while I'm there, because after you check in, because by mind you, my regular appointment time was at 9 o'clock in the morning. That had to be changed to about, I think it was 11:30. And then we got down there, you know what I mean, by this time, and they're telling me, hey, you need to check in. It's already 12, because the doctor's appointment going on, and they tell me come back with the results of what's going to happen. I sign my paperwork. They say, yeah, you need to go and check in now. Your blood pressure is too high, and we don't want you to do this, pass out, whatever. Okay, cool, but I'm not going until I get something to eat. They said you got a 2-hour window. If you don't go within the 2 hours, we'll come looking for you. So I went. We couldn't figure out where we were going to eat at before I had to go and check in. Mind you, I was originally supposed to check in at 5 p.m. I had to check in by 2. So get to the registration after we get some food, go check in. Mine's a Monday, so it's busy in the area. And we go check in, whatever. They get us all through, get me in my room. And then they told me they're not going to give me my Pitocin until the next morning. So, I had to be in that hospital all that night Monday. And then Tuesday came around. That was supposed to be the day that I was supposed to give birth to my son. My boyfriend took off of work for that Tuesday, mind you, just so he won't miss it. And Tuesday morning come around at 6 o'clock in the morning, they gave me the Pitocin. So people coming to visit me throughout the day. You know, my contractions started a little bit. They weren't nothing heavy. I was good. And then like 8, 9 o'clock rolled around, and they told me, oh, you're still at 1 centimeter. Mind you, of course, for those who don't know, you have to get to 10 centimeters. So I'm calm, I'm cool, but I'm anxious at the same time. And then I'm worried that he's not going to come while my boyfriend is off work, because technically he couldn't take off both days. So just because of the type of job he was at. Anyway, so Tuesday night comes around, and by this time it's like 10:30. My mom and dad have come and left. My best friends have come and gone. My sister has come and gone. My brothers were working, so they didn't get to come and see me before. And my boyfriend's mom and sister, they didn't get to come and see me before either, before I had him. And my boyfriend ended up having to go home. So about 12:45, he said, baby, we'll go home. Mind you, we live 45 minutes away. He said, I've got to go home so I can go and get ready for work, because he could not miss that next day. We were both irritated because we were told we were going to have him on that Tuesday. They were for sure we were going to have him on that Tuesday. That didn't happen. So, try not to cry. So, after my boyfriend left about 12:45, 12:50, after this and that, and by this time, in the meantime of all this, they're tossing and turning me, telling me to switch sides back and forth because the baby wasn't tolerating the Pitocin. My blood pressure kept going up, kept going down, kept going up, kept going down. They said his heartbeat kept slowing on one side, had me switch to the other side. And this is going on for hour since I got in there at 2 o'clock Monday night. So all day Tuesday, they're watching me and monitoring me and telling me, oh, he's not tolerating this, he's not tolerating that, you need to switch sides, do this, you can't do this, da 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 da. So by this time, I figured he's gonna come and there's not gonna be anybody here of my family wise with me. And lo and behold, I was right. So they came and checked me again, and I was 3 centimeters. Right before my boyfriend got there, before he left, I mean, I was 3 centimeters. But that time it was like 10. Still having small contractions, nothing big. So I asked for an epidural so I can try to get some sleep, because they said, oh, you should be delivering him by the end of the night. So back to when my boyfriend left, around about 12, it was like 11:45, 11:50 or so. He got home, and right when he was about to get home, they come in my room and they tell me that they came in my room at about 1:20 and said, you're being taken to have an emergency C-section. I was livid because boyfriend already just about to get home. They wait until after he left to say that. Mom and dad are only about 20 minutes away, but they're rushing me already to OR. So all I had time to do was call my parents and say, hey, they're rushing me to OR because he wasn't tolerating Pitocin, and call my boyfriend and tell him that they were taking me to OR. That's all I can do. That's all I had time to do. By that time, they had already came in the room, made sure that I knew what everything was going to happen, pushed the rest of the spinal block into my epidural because they needed to numb me completely to make sure I wouldn't feel anything, and then literally rushed me back to the OR. Mind you, there were no like screens going off in my room. There was no alarms going off in my room. Nothing. It was quiet in my room. They apparently noticed this from their nursing station. Okay, cool, whatever. So you waited for everyone to leave after you've been monitoring this the entire time to say you got to be rushed to OR because he hasn't been tolerating it for the last 3 hours. If that was the case, you should have done my emergency C-section earlier. Anyway, blood pressure sky high. Get back to the OR. get me laid out on the table, get me prepped. The anesthesiologist was cool, found out he was from the same area I was from, grew up wise. And then one of the nurses comes and says, do you have a living will? Mind you, I'm on the table, blood pressure already high as hell, and you want to ask me that question right then. I wanted to wring that woman's neck. Anyway, so I asked one of the nurses, after ignoring her, I asked one of the nurses if they could use my phone to take pictures since they waited for all of my family to leave. One of the nurses said, oh yes, definitely, I'll do that. Why did they wait for your family? I said, I don't know, but they waited for my family to leave. So, you're good, I'm just recording. I don't think it can see you in the kitchen. Hold on, let me see. No, it can't, it's blocked. So, as I'm laying on the OR table and they asked me all that, and I asked one of the nurses to take pictures for me, she said she will. It was the most scariest thing that I've ever been through. So I never thought that I would be delivering my son by myself, without my family, without my boyfriend, without anybody. It wasn't my family's fault, none of that. My son didn't go past 3 centimeters, but they waited till everyone to leave to come and say, oh, he hasn't been tolerating the Pitocin. They knew this long time before 1 o'clock in the morning, but they did it. While I'm there, I can feel them tugging and pulling on me and all that stuff. And my OB nurse, she told me to brace myself because they had to lean on my chest to pull my son out because he was that big of a baby in my small body. He was stuck at 3 centimeters in the birth canal. His head wasn't messed up or anything like that, but he was stuck. And they literally had to lean on me to tug him out, and I felt them move me. I wasn't in pain, but I felt all of it. Would I go through it again? I would, a million times over, but with my family with me. He was taken out at 1:51 in the morning. He was 9 pounds 3 ounces, 22 inches long, and just a screaming and hollering. He pretty much came out with his fist up, like, what's good? That was the first picture I seen that the nurse showed me. And the only thing about that experience is that I was pissed because I was by myself and they waited until everyone left, knowing all of the circumstances, knowing where we lived, where my family had to go to get to us, and all of that. Needless to say, now, almost 2 years later, he is the most perfect little boy that we could have, and I'm grateful for him because I was never supposed to have children. But yeah, so that's my story. I'm going to end this here before I start bawling in tears so I can feel my eyes watering. If you have questions, things like that, people who don't understand certain things, leave comments below. I don't need any sympathy. I'm good. It's 2 years later. Yeah, I'm still pissed at the nurses for waiting so long, but he's here, he's healthy, and that's all that matters. Until next time, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with anyone and everyone. Peace.